Hi, I'm Jennifer Potter, Executive Director of Bwell Texas. Too many people are struggling alone these days, and alcohol and drug deaths are increasing. We started Bwell Texas to offer high-quality, science-based addiction treatment and recovery services anywhere, even at home. We provide compassionate, caring support virtually or in person. In many cases, there is no cost for treatment if you don't have insurance. Really. Welcome to Bwell Texas. We're glad you're here.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
In confidence?
Yes.
Does it bother you that people only started liking this show when we added V&A?
Greatly.
Stepp and Stepp, your premium Texas high school football podcast from your friends at Dave Campbell's Texas Football and TexasFootball.com. I am Tepp Greg Tepper.
I'm your high school football first responder, Matt Stepp.
Thank you for your courage.
Thank you. Thank you.
We do thank you for your courage, for being a Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscriber, or watching this for free, which
You have less courage.
which requires significantly less courage than spending money on content. Right? That's the courage.
Supporting media.
Supporting media.
Supporting local media.
Exactly right. We are local. We're local to the entire state of Texas.
We are, because I was in San Antonio on Saturday.
Absolutely.
And I was in the Rio Grande Valley the week before. I'll be in East Texas on Thursday.
You are a first responder.
I am. You know what? I was at Heroes Stadium in San Antonio on Saturday. And ironically, I was at Heroes Stadium. And, it's there are, obviously the firefighters.
Sure, of course, yes.
Military.
And the troops. Troops. We love the troops.
But I felt like a hero myself, because I'm a high school football first responder.
I think you
felt like a hero.
Should feel.
Yeah, I thought it was poignant that I was at Heroes Stadium on Saturday. It's the most ridiculous thing ever. As I'm walking around in a backwards cap, talking to coaches.
One of the
whatever.
Another person who is decidedly a hero is our producer, V&A Moreno. V&A Moreno. And your Cowboys shirt.
A heroine. Yeah, how about the Cowboys? Yeah.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah. Have you heard the latest stat?
No, what's the latest stat, Matthew?
That the Dallas Cowboys are 3-0 when WTF does not attend their football.
Wow. Really makes you think. It really makes you think.
It does.
This is
maybe it's WTF's fault that they lost those 2 home games.
This is your Week 7
Love you, Pickle
preview edition of Tepp and Stepp. We do thank you for being a Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscriber. Coming up here in just a moment, Matt Stepp and I will sift through the wreckage of Week 6 of the Texas high school football season.
It's supposed to be a bye week, kind of quiet.
And
no big deal.
And all hell broke loose.
NBD, just kind of chilling. Yeah.
Do the kids still say that?
I don't know. Do they still say it?
Still say
V&A is younger than us. So.
Yeah. V&A, you're young.
Do they say NBD?
NBD?
No big deal.
No big deal?
Yeah.
We say MBN. Must be nice.
Okay. Yeah.
Must be nice.
Yeah. Okay.
We're young and hip.
We're a very young and hip show. Yeah, clearly.
And then we will have our Week 7 game draft. But first, Matthew, we will start, as we always do, with your Texas high school football fun fact of the week, presented by Community Coffee. Community Coffee, who definitely appreciates the tradition here of me pulling
bold and refreshing. I know that.
As I do it. Community Coffee supports and celebrates the thriving communities at the heart of Texas high school football. Community Coffee, strong as our roots. Discover more at communitycoffee.com.
If Community Coffee had a pumpkin spice, would you try it? Or would you just send it to Riley Dodge?
They do.
I bet they do. They have like a pumpkin.
They got to.
They've got to.
We got to send it to Riley Dodge. That's what we got to do. You know the story about Riley Dodge and pumpkin spice, right? V&A.
Nope, I do not.
Years ago at a coaching school, we pulled him aside for an interview. The head coach of the South Lake Carroll Dragons.
We were just throwing. It was off season, so we were throwing random questions out. Pancakes or waffles.
And it's like how do you take your coffee? And he got this like wry smile on his face, and he goes, It's like a lot of cream, a lot of sugar, couple pumps of it's like a couple
pumpkin spice.
Little pumpkin spice,
And he's kind of very sheepish about it. Clearly, he gets made fun of in the field.
Yeah, he gets his bougie coffee.
Yeah.
Anyway, Matt Stepp, your Texas high school football fun fact.
Shout out Coach Dodge.
Your Texas high school football fun fact of the week. Matt Stepp, now that Humble Summer Creek has given up 42 points on the season.
What are they even doing over there?
Coming into last week, they were allowing an average of 0 points per game.
Mm-hmm. It's a bold strategy to shut everyone out.
They are no longer the state's leader in scoring defense. Matt Stepp, who's the UIL 11-man defensive scoring defense leader.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, this is good. This is a good one.
Thanks, man.
I like it.
Thanks. I like it a lot too.
Yeah.
I let me see. I will tell you this. This is probably not surprising. They're undefeated.
I was going through my undefeated teams.
Undefeated. Maybe I'm going to give you another hint.
Okay.
Not ranked.
Really?
An unranked 5A team. Or no, not 5A. No, an unranked 5-0 team, I should say. They're not 5A.
Okay. Unranked.
Do a classification?
Yeah, give me classification.
2A Division 1.
What do you want?
I could give you a mascot, which won't help at all.
The Eagles, yeah. Yeah, it's super helpful. 280. No, it's not Lubbock. I was gonna say Lubbock Roosevelt, but they're 382. So yeah, I'm gonna take the L here.
Matt Stepp,
You've been bringing the heat this season. You've been bringing some
just
good ones.
5 points per game, 25 points in their first 5 games. The Eagles of Mildred High School are the
mighty
state's
Mildred,
leading defender.
just outside of Corsicana.
Corsicana Mildred is 5-0. Took an open date last week. They have they gave up 12 points to Clarksville. Now I will say this, they are unranked. They're undefeated. I am not super sure they've played the world's toughest schedule.
Sure. Yeah.
Iola, Rice, Blooming Grove, Clarksville, and Moody have a combined 5 wins on the season, but you can only play who you're lined up against. And by the way, look at their district and tell me who they're losing to. Like, you're sure they're losing to. Like, Kearns is probably the second best.
Are they in there with Frankston?
They're in there with Franks. They actually play Frankston this week.
Yeah, I would say Italy is Italy in that district? No, okay, so
their district is Frankston, Cayuga, Kearns, Price Carlisle, and Crossroads.
I think other than Frankston, I think Mildred could win the. I mean, Kearns is kind of the toss-up.
Yeah, Kearns is the toss-up game. But yeah, anyway,
Local, kind of very. Kearns and Mildred are very close to each other.
There it is. Your Texas high school football fun fact of the week. Thanks, Community Coffee. Love you.
Thank you, Community Coffee.
Love you. All right, Matthew. Week 6 of the Texas high school football season came and went. And it's funny because, like, all week we were talking about, like, open date, big open date for a lot of teams. But there are 2 big, gigantic games that we are paying attention to.
One in Dallas, one in Houston. Nah.
And they both,
DFW, not Dallas. DFW.
Both in their own separate, like, different way, lived up to the hype.
Yeah. We'll start in Houston. The Atascocita Summer Creek game is one of the more wild games I've ever watched because
I saw on Twitter as the game of the year.
So I was at my game Friday night. I had my tablet up watching Texan Live, and I keep looking up, and Atascocita is breaking a long touchdown. Like, they just big play after big play
every time.
And they're up 35-7 at halftime, and I'm like, well, I'm going to switch over to Alito and Denton Ryan. I switched, and then I start looking on Twitter, and people that are at the game are going, it's like
it's a 2-score game, yeah.
I flipped back at 35-24, and at that point, momentum was clearly with Summer Creek. They had clearly made some defensive adjustments. It wasn't like they struggled moving the football in the first half. They just couldn't finish.
They couldn't finish drives,
and they started finishing drives, and it turned out to be a banger. I mean, I think it was just crazy, the tale of 2 halves in that game. But I mean, I think you have to give credit to both teams in this scenario. Summer Creek for coming back, and then Atascocita for taking that punch and then having enough left in the tank to go down and get the game-winning touchdown drive. A lot of drama, great football game, great crowd. It was like an awesome atmosphere. It's really one of the best things about Texas. That's you could take an outsider to a Texas high school football game. That might have been the game to take him to.
I came away really impressed with both quarterbacks.
Blake Thomas really good.
Blake Thomas has made that step. Like you are exactly right last week when you said you're like he's just gotten a lot better, and he is. He is more of a true complete quarterback now, as opposed to like last year he was like
He was an athlete.
he was a runner and a thrower, not a passer. You know what I mean? Now it's like no, he can do it all. I came away impressed with that, and then Cardi Mack, an assassin, man. Like that last drive,
And then he can his deep ball. You know, I've watched a couple of Texas City games. He can throw the deep ball. You know, he may not be a natural quarterback, and maybe not a guy who can make every throw. You know, he can't every throw. You know, the across the hash field to the sideline, fitting in small windows. But when it comes to a deep ball, he's got one of the best deep balls, and he can put that thing on the money. And then his receivers, Chris Toney and those guys, can go get it.
It was really just a joy to watch that game. It was a joy to watch that game. And I'll say this: I think both those teams are going to give North Shore some trouble.
Yeah,
like
I mean, they gave North Shore trouble last year. Yeah, you know, now and we'll talk about who's better and who's worse than last year. I think all three of those teams are better than they were.
I agree.
So we'll talk about a game where maybe the two teams aren't as good as last year, but those three, I think all three are better. So it's gonna be interesting.
The other game, Aledo and Denton Ryan, and Denton Ryan jumps out to a 27-8 lead.
Old momentum was,
and then Aledo promptly returns the next kickoff for a touchdown, and all I'm thinking in my head is like, I know exactly how this is going. Like that is the kind of thing that Aledo does. Like the reason they haven't lost in 123 consecutive district games is that to beat them, and not just in district games, really any game, to beat Aledo, you have to just keep throwing punches.
Yeah, you have to just bludgeon them to death.
You have to bury them.
I think Denton Ryan got a little bit of a case of lemon booty. It was some serious. I know VNA is like, what is lemon booty?
It was 27-8. Write that down, VNA.
Yes.
I didn't get that.
27-8. They were. I think they went kickoff return, stop, and score. And it's like, I'm like,
yeah, it's over.
This is script.
The Aledo adjustments in the second half. Denton Ryan could not move the ball in the second half. They couldn't get first downs. Credit to Aledo. They made some defensive. They cleaned some things up defensively. Ryan didn't have a counterpunch.
Yeah.
You know, and I think the moment got to Denton Ryan a little bit on the road in a hostile environment. You know, that Aledo crowd, when it got to be 27-8, you probably, heard some murmuring and some people going, okay, we're going to, early third quarter, we're going to get out of here, beat the traffic, that kind of thing. And then they return that kickoff, and you could just feel this from watching the game and I didn't have the volume up because I was in the press box, but I literally flipped over right before Denton Ryan's last touchdown. When Aledo scored that touchdown, you could just see the energy on Aledo's side just amped up, and you could just feel momentum. And Denton Ryan, I just didn't have an answer. So it's a learning experience for Denton Ryan. This isn't going to make or break them.
No. And it might be the first of two meetings.
It's very disappointing for sure because they had a chance to really make a statement. But if they meet again, I think Denton Ryan's got to take what happened and learn from it. It'll be on a neutral site, so you won't have that. But I just think the moment got to Denton Ryan a little bit.
Okay, so the other thing I want to do here is I want to look over our rankings, expertly crafted by the Dave Campbell's Texas football staff. And I want to look at the teams that dropped out of the ranking.
Sure.
And I want to get your what alarm are we? Is this a 10 alarm? Like, oh no, this is bad news. Is this a 0 alarm? They had to drop because of it. Okay. Cy Springs, they lose to Bridgeland and they drop out of the 6A rank.
I'd say 6 alarm. Offense struggled. Bridgeland's got a good defense, but they're not a lockdown defense.
Bridgeland didn't score an offensive point.
Yeah, so little concern there. Cy Springs I think this is still Cy Springs growing as a program. Did I kick something? VNA, am I still good? Okay.
You're good.
Cy Springs, I think, is still growing as a pro. Bridgeland's been in these games before. You could see it. Always a lot of churn in 6A. When you get to after about team 6A has a lot of depth. You get to 15 to 50, and the teams are fairly evenly matched. So you're always going to get some turnover in that bottom part of the ranking. So a little concerned about the offense. So just not scoring until the very end of the game was a little bit concerning for Cy Springs.
Port Arthur Memorial.
I thought they'd lose on the road at Galveston Ball. I picked Galveston Ball to win the game.
Let me tell you, dude.
Did not think they would get drilled.
I think I love Galveston Ball.
They got the juice. They're a borderline contender. They're in Region 3. We're going to talk about Weiss, A&M Consolidated, College Station, maybe the Angleton. You better start talking about Galveston ball. That was a statement.
That was really, I think, to me, that game says more about Galveston ball than it does Memorial. So
yeah, Memorial will throw a stinker out at you. Let's see how Memorial's got a tough game this week against Barbers Hill. See if they bounce back. If they bounce back, then I'll credit to maybe they went on the road and they kind of got avalanched a little bit. Because they played Hightower really tough earlier in the year, took them to overtime. So there is concern about Memorial just because now you still got to play Lufkin, you got to play Barbers Hill. You know, that playoff, the first round they should win just because of where they're matched up, but then the bracket gets tougher after that.
Huntsville. I'm telling you, Jeff Joseph keeps beating the allegations. It is so incredible.
This was the other game that I was watching on my laptop.
Clear. That's a turn of phrase.
Yeah.
He's not accused of anything, but he just continues to win close games.
Here's the difference. Those two teams are very you can make an argument Huntsville probably should have won that game. They very easily could have won the game, but Huntsville, this is P&G, this is where these two programs are right now. P&G has been there, done that. Huntsville's learning. Huntsville did not make winning plays in the margins to win that football game. Let me give you a little scenario here. It's 7-7 late first half. Huntsville picks off a pass. Stops a P&G drive, right? Nope. Roughing the passer. P&G gets that first down. They go down and score a touchdown, 14-7. Ensuing kickoff. Huntsville fumbles the ensuing kickoff. P&G recovers. Huntsville's defense stands on their head, pushes P&G back, pushes them out of field goal range. 3rd and long. Huntsville gets called for a 15-yard face mask. P&G kicks a field goal. Goes up 17-7 at the half. So 10 basically free points that Huntsville gave P&G at the end of the first half. Huntsville fights their butts off to take the lead 21-17. Fourth quarter, P&G scores, makes 24-21, and that's what they'll do. Huntsville drives right back down. They get a first and the quarterback breaks a long run. 1st and 10 on the P&G 20. 2 minutes left. All the momentum on Huntsville's side. Back-to-back false starts makes it 1st and 20. 3rd down, they throw a pass to get a first down right through the receiver's hands for an interception. So winning. P&G doesn't do that. So Huntsville's got to learn how to not do that to win those kind of games.
I think this is the highest. I think you'll understand the praise that I mean.
I know it was a little bit long, but I just wanted to give that context.
I like that.
I think you'll understand and appreciate the praise that I'm heaping on P&G when I say this. They remind me of Highland Park in the sense that they will pounce on your mistakes maybe better than any team in the state.
Yeah.
They will just, if you trip up, they're right there to make you pay for it. And
not only does P&G not beat themselves, but they take full advantage of your screw-ups.
Absolutely.
Maximum, and to a maximum degree.
Yes.
You know, if you screw up, they're going to pounce on you, and they're going to make you pay for it.
Absolutely. And it's I mean that as basically the highest compliment I can.
That's why they're 12-0 in one-score games under Jeff Joseph.
Absolutely.
You don't get to 12-0 in one-score games by not doing that.
Absolutely. Melissa. They lose to Lovejoy. Lovejoy's got their number. It's just Lovejoy has their number. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, it was a great game. Lovejoy kicks a field goal right at the end of the game. You know, I picked Melissa to win the game. I thought this was the year they would do it. Credit to Todd Dodge and Lovejoy. They got it done.
I'm telling you.
I just think Lovejoy has Melissa's number. So I'm not super concerned about Melissa.
Lovejoy is getting better.
They are.
They're getting better.
They moved into the state rankings this week.
Kilgore.
So
let me tell you something. That's a
bad loss.
That's a bad
now
loss.
Henderson is credit. Clay Baker has got he's back at his alma mater. Clay Baker did a great job at Price Carlisle, and look where Price Carlisle is right now. They're struggling. Clay Baker's done a great job. I think this is a year. I think most people thought Henderson was ready to kind of get back to being a good East Texas team. 2025.
Yeah.
Well, Henderson's 5-1 now, but they hadn't really had a win of consequence until then they hung on for dear life late.
Yes.
Henderson got up 24-0 early third quarter, and they had to hold off that the Kilgore, the Ragin' Red got to Ragin' and tied it up, and then Henderson kicks a field goal late. And I talked to noted East Texas alum Gabe Brooks from 24/7, who kind of said this. He was like, Kilgore, every year Kilgore kind of lays an egg like this. Maybe this is Kilgore's egg. We'll see. But I think what it does in 9-4A Division I is it really muddles things up now. 'Cause now you've got really 5 teams in the mix for 4 spots.
Let me tell you another one, and let me ask you, that did not drop out of the rankings. Stephenville. They go and they play Ruston, Louisiana. Now that's a big school in Louisiana.
Well, not as big as people think. Their enrollment's basically a 5A D. They got about 1,300 kids.
Okay.
But they're loaded.
Yeah.
I think they have like 12 D1s. They're loaded. They beat Longview.
Yeah.
They beat the hell out of Midland Legacy. They played.
Well, they beat the hell out of Stephenville.
And they blew Stephenville away 60. So I don't take too much of that. I mean, we did drop Stephenville a little bit just because they got blown out, but not super concerned that they got blown away. I'm going to take that one as Stephenville just played someone who's a lot better than them, and that there's no one in 4A Division I close to Ruston.
Tatum.
No, I'm not too concerned. I mean, that's a really tough district. Now, Tatum may finish fourth in the district because that district's really good with Jefferson, Liberty Ilo, and Atlanta. So it was not super concerned losing on the road at Liberty Ilo.
Rice Consolidated.
No, not concerned at all. That was a great.
Yeah,
I
ball
think.
Game. Well, I
think the Raiders are back.
We ended up leaping East Bernard up to number 2 in the 3A Division 1 or 3A Division 2 ranking because I think their resume right now that's a signature win.
It's a great win. Rice Consolidated is really good. I mean, I think we could have made a case that that Rice Consolidated should have remained in the rankings. Losing to East Bernard by 8, I think Rice Consolidated is just fine.
Canadian.
Concerned.
There's
some red flags going off with Canadian right now. That tough schedule, yes, and I think the district. It's a good thing this year at Canadian. Their district's probably not as strong. Childress isn't as strong as they usually are. It's Spearman dropped down to 2A, who's usually a solid team. So the Canadian has a chance to get their wheels back on. Right now, the wheels are off. They're just not playing Canadian football right now. And the problem is 3A Division II, Region 1, across the board is probably better than it has been. There's more good teams in 3A Division II, Region 1 than there has been. So concerned, especially come playoff time, because you got teams like, Muleshoe. Speaking of concern, Muleshoe got beat, but Muleshoe's still really good. Lubbock Roosevelt, Idalou, Wall, all teams.
Right now, if you're asking me who wins Region 1, I'm saying Wall.
All teams have looked really good. So Region 2 in Region 1 in Division 2 and 3A is going to be tough.
Anyway, those are all the teams that dropped out, and that's a little bit of Week 6 recap. It's now time for our Week 7 game draft. If this is your first episode of Stepp and Stepp, welcome. Here's how it works. Stepp and I go back and forth, selecting games we're most interested in. So that's the phrase that pays here.
Mm-hmm.
What games are we most interested in? So last week, for example, you could have taken
Fort Worth Western Hills 39, Fort Worth Diamond Hill 39 to 14. Yeah, 39-14. Diamond Hill's competitive, but Western Hills got them. Yeah.
And so this week, hypothetically,
Bye, China. China's the best.
She is. So
she's fired up about her Richardson Eagles.
I love China.
Yeah, she should be. And so if you wanted to this week select a game like
Plainview versus Wichita Falls Legacy,
you absolutely can. That's the you can pick. All you gotta do is sell us on why you're interested in it.
Yeah.
We'll go 5 rounds back and forth selecting games we're most interested in. We'll round it all out with our hipster game of the week, and then we'll ask V&A what she wrote down. We'll see where Stepp's going, etc. All the fun stuff. So
all the good things.
Coin flip for the show. Stepp won the coin flip, which means he gets pick 1-1, and I have no idea. I will say this. Okay, I know what game you're picking.
Sure.
If you don't,
I mean,
I know what game you're picking. I texted you this. It's funny that there's this game, but outside of this game in DFW, kind of a midweek. There's one or two other kind of draftable games.
There are a couple.
By DFW standards, Week 7, you got to think outside. Think outside the bun, so to speak, I think.
We'll Taco Bell reference there. So, Bell, if you want to sponsor Tep and Stepp, we'll take your...
Anyway, Matt Stepp, go and take DeSoto.
Yes, this is pretty obvious here. 7 o'clock Friday night at Eagle Stadium in DeSoto as the Duncanville Eagles, the number 1 team in the state.
Nope, try again.
Duncanville Panthers. Sorry.
Whoa.
I said Eagle Stadium, that's why.
Eagle Stadium. Let me tell you something.
If I said Duncanville Eagles, I'd get some... Thank you for saving me.
I'm doing this to save your life.
Thank you. DeSoto people will be... I'd get a text from Coach Mathis. What the hell, Stepp? The Duncanville Panthers visiting the DeSoto Eagles. Duncanville, the number 1 team in Class 6A. DeSoto, the number 4 team in Class 6A. And you may think, well, DeSoto lost to North Crowley in Week 2. This game's lost a little bit of its luster. No, it hasn't. Nope.
I haven't a little bit.
It's going to be a sellout. It will be a packed house. It's going to be great. It's going to be a crazy atmosphere. It's, a lot of people think this is the best. I'm a little hyperbole, but there's people saying it's the best game between 2 public schools in the country this year, and I think it's up there. I mean, you have 2 defending 6A state champions,
two two-time defending state
Yes,
champions.
However, I think just as an overarching theme here, I think we saw peak Duncanville, peak DeSoto last year. I think those two teams had peaked. I don't think either one of these teams is quite right now. We're halfway through the season, quite as good as they were last year.
I think I can agree with you. I might use a different word. I might say that I think last year's teams were more complete.
Yes,
I think that there are parts of these teams, specifically for both of them, the receiver cores, that are perhaps even superior to last year.
Yeah, Duncanville for sure.
But
the passing game is ridiculous.
But I would say from a complete ball club perspective, I think you're right. I think if you want to say neither of these teams are as complete as they were
both
last
have big questions.
year.
For Duncanville, let's talk about what's good. It's been the passing game. You've got a quarterback, Keelan Russell, 5-star quarterback going to Alabama, 5-star wide receiver DeCorian Moore going to Oregon. You've got.
Are they the only team in the country that can claim something like that? Like, I mean, they're
probably the only public school.
It's got to be a class that doesn't take long to call roll.
You've got, but if you people do this, they'll double more. But then you got Ace and Theus, Zach Turner, Trenton Yancey. Like Duncanville can throw out 4 Division I wide receivers. I think all 4 of those, the other 3 guys all have Division I offers as well. So they're loaded. However, the personality of Duncanville is way different. Reginald Sample's teams are usually very physical in the running game. They're very good on the offensive line. I don't think Duncanville's quite as good on the offensive line as they were a year ago, and they're definitely not running the ball quite as good as well. They're not running the ball well at all, really. And yeah, you lose Caden Durham. I get it. Caden Durham, he's at LSU going off.
Yeah.
But Duncanville's very reliant on the passing game. And it's they go as Keelan Russell goes, and so far he's gone great. But I think it's a lot easier to scheme a passing game versus scheming a running game.
Agreed.
Defensively. So the question, that's Duncanville. Duncanville's defense is fine. Again, I think they're good, but I don't think they're as good as they were last year. That defensive line, you don't have Colin Simmons. Colin Simmons was a game wrecker. They don't quite have that. Their secondary is still very good. They might be better in the secondary than last year, but the front 7 just doesn't blow me away.
Yeah.
Let's talk about DeSoto. And I think their running game, DeSoto at the skill spots is elite. Their offense is a machine.
It's stupid.
You've got Tiger Ryden, Myson Johnson Cook, where they can, Tiger Ryden, A&M commit, Myson Johnson Cook, the sophomore who's a 200, he's listed at 225. He's probably like 240. He's huge.
Lord.
And just is a bull back there. You've got Dalen Singleton, Booby Feaster out wide. You got a massive offensive line. You got a quarterback, Keldon Ryan, who is committed to Virginia Tech, and I think he is another dangerous runner. Mm-hmm. But I don't think DeSoto in the passing game is quite as strong as they were last year. Because you look at it, DJ Bailey had been in that system for 3 years, knew the offense, knew the reads, it was all muscle memory. Keldon Ryan just got there this spring. He doesn't have the experience. He doesn't have the muscle memory in the passing game. So it's been fits and starts for DeSoto's passing game.
I think I've been pretty clear about my feelings on DJ Bailey, and I think there's an argument to be made he's the best DeSoto quarterback of all time. And that's saying something.
They've had some great
ones, but as far as
a winner,
that's the word. He was a winner.
Yeah. Defensively, I don't think DeSoto is definitely not where they were last year.
No. That's clear. That's clear from the numbers, but even if you say don't trust the numbers, just eye test.
Yeah. They're not as good as they were defensively last year. So I think this is going to be a shootout.
But what's interesting to me is that I do think they have the single best defensive playmaker.
In Keelan Abrams.
In
Yes. The TC. I think does he still get the TC?
Yeah. Rusher. Yeah.
Yeah. And he didn't play the whole, he got kicked out of the North Crowley game. So that hurt a little bit that he missed that impact. Not taking anything away from North Crowley, but I think it's notable.
Is it?
I think this is going to be an absolute shootout.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. This is going to come down to which defense can get a stop each. It was a shootout last year. What was the key last year? DeSoto converted a fake punt. They got an onside kick. They stole a couple of possessions. This game's going to come down to, can a defense get a stop, or can you steal a possession with a turnover or a wonky special teams play? DeSoto got him last year. Duncanville hadn't forgot. I think Duncanville is going to get him this year on the road. I just think Duncanville is a little more complete and a little more equipped to get that key stop late in the game. So give me Duncanville in a shootout.
I think that's a great point, and I think DeSoto's going to win.
Yeah,
I like DeSoto. I think that they can. I think that you're right. I think it's going to be a firefight, and I'm going to go with the team with the multiple ways to beat you. I think if you, and especially, I think the key to this game is Jaquelin Armstrong, the running back for Duncanville. He's got to be over like 100 yards. And that's an arbitrary number, but what I mean is that he has to be an effective runner.
Yeah.
He has to be effective in slowing down the pass rush from DeSoto, which is going to pin their ears back.
Yeah, there you have to Russell.
If you just leave him back there and just say, all right, you're going to throw the ball 55 times, they're going to come.
It's crazy to think that Reggie's. I mean, but Keelan Russell's. I think against South Oak Cliff, I think Russell had 51 dropbacks. He threw 45 passes, and then he had 6 like either sacks or quarterback runs, like scrambles. That's crazy for a Reginald. Reginald Samples is not a air raid guy.
Give that big baby the ball.
Yeah, he likes to run the football and get downhill and be physical. That's what Coach Samples' team. That's their personality.
That's his personality since time immemorial. Since he was at Lincoln, that's what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think if Duncanville can run the ball, they win the game. But there has been no sign they can run the ball, and that's why I think DeSoto is going to come up with a couple of stops just by, pass rush. Mm-hmm. And come up with a couple plays. Now, I have big concerns about their defense. And Keldon Ryan has got to be sharp. Mm-hmm. But I think at home, I like DeSoto.
Okay. Close. It's going to be a crazy atmosphere.
It's going to be a great atmosphere.
Fun environment Friday night. It's the game of the year in the state to this point.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's like a big 6A game in DFW. Mm-hmm. Let's do exactly the same thing. 7 o'clock Friday night at Greyhound Stadium in Groover.
Oh, heck yeah. Let's go. Panhandle.
District 1 2A Division 2. So 2 teams, boy, it's knowable how like a combined enrollment here of like under 250 for sure, right?
I would like the equivalent breakdown that you guys just had over Duncanville and DeSoto with this.
We can do it. I'm fired up on this game.
I just took so many notes.
It is the Groover Greyhounds with an enrollment of 151, taking on the Stratford Elks an enrollment of 165, so over 300. So booming.
Yeah, it's growing like crazy.
Less than one class at DeSoto, who is the smallest, the smaller of the 2 teams.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Groover has flown under the radar, I think in a big way. 6-0 to start the year, and the reason that they are 6-0 is pretty obvious, which is they're just scoring a lot.
Yeah.
They're just like, what if we just keep scoring and you just don't stop us? They're averaging 54 points a game.
Seems good. I mean, Summer Creek had their bold strategy of allowing 0 points. Yeah. Groover just says, we'll just score 54.
What if we just score 54 times, 54 points every time? And I've been very impressed with them. They've scored 49 or more points in every one of their games. Think about that.
Yeah, that's impressive.
49 points in every game.
They've got a lot of playmakers,
Briggs Satterfield, their quarterback, I think is very strong. Walker Maupin, their running back, has been very good.
His older sister was like a big-time basketball player. Bailey Maupin, I think was her name.
Because Groover's really good at basketball.
Yes, like she was
every year.
And I think the guys up there give him hell because Walker, they say, oh, you're the second best athlete in your family because Bailey is like
it's tough.
It's a tough scene, but
Haynes King's the same way.
Yeah,
Haynes King's the second best athlete in his family.
His sister's an awesome gymnast. So
anyway, hi Haynes.
You know who else is there? You remember Jalen Conyers?
I was just about to go there.
Remember him? Yeah,
Texas Tech's own Dax Conyers, and he's lighting it up. He's been great.
And they have an offensive lineman, the son of the head coach, Smith, who's like 6'8", 340.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Groover, I'll tell you.
They don't call him the mountain. They just call him the apartment complex. This is what I was told. He's massive.
God, I love it.
And you didn't think we'd talk about Groover and Stratford at BNA.
I'll tell you this. Groover, if you want to talk about a program that, like, up and down in a big way. Because, like, you remember 2018, they played in a title game.
It's a state championship game, yeah.
2 years later, in 2020, they went 2-9.
Small town cycles. That's the classic 2A. You get a great group come through, and you have a group maybe that is a little bit down. I think Groover had a class come through that didn't have a whole lot of boys in it, and we all know dudes rock, and dudes especially rock in football. So if you don't have a lot of boys in your class, it's tough to be competitive in football. Just it is.
But I'll tell you that the Groover has been terrific this year, thanks to Kent Harpether, their Kurt Harpether.
Yeah,
what?
He's been a great.
Kurt Harpether.
Oh,
Coach Hab's done a great job.
Hipster. I've
Just call him Coach Hab.
Coach Hab.
You just call him Coach Hab. Yeah, he's done a great job.
Well, I will just say this: if you want to knock Groover, they have a great win. Their best win of the year is over Stinnett West Texas. It's a good win. That's their only loss of the year. West Texas.
Wait, you know what? The apartment complex is at Stinnett West Texas, not Groover. Dang it!
Cancel the show.
Yeah, we're done. Sorry, the apartment complex is it's Coach Smith's son at West Texas.
So am I crossing out that note?
Yeah, but it's still a good note.
It's still a great nickname. Yeah, it's just not for Groover. It's for Stinnett West Texas.
Way past the apartment complex.
Yeah, sorry.
But I will tell you this, that if we're talking about apartments, the rent's coming due.
Oh, look at that segue. That's a pro, right? That is a pro. What a professional broadcaster.
Because here comes Stratford.
Mm-hmm.
Stratford is a perfect example of, like, don't trust the record.
Sure.
Okay? They're 3-2, but their losses are to Panhandle, who I think is still undefeated.
Yeah, they are.
And Sunray, who's definitely still undefeated.
2 really good Class 2 ATs.
State-ranked 2A
Yes,
D1
both of them. Panhandle Sunray later this year. That's going to be – that'll probably make the game draft.
I bet it'll make the big game. Stratford, I could go on and on about Bryce Braden. Dewdrock.
He's awesome.
Dewdrock. He's so good.
Both sides of the ball. Air Force
think,
commit.
Though, if you want to talk about why they're dangerous, it is because I think running back Julio Valdez has started to get going.
He's been hurt.
Yeah.
He was hurt, and so getting him back, I think, because when he was out, I mean, Braden kind of started to get wore down a little bit because it was basically, let's just build the whole plane out of Bryce Braden. And he's a monster. He's like 6'4", 230, playing 2A football, but he's human, you know, and he can get hurt and he can get bumps and bruises, and I think having a lot of that on his shoulders wore him down. Getting Valdez back has been key.
Valdez has been huge because it allows them to spread the wealth a little bit around.
He's a great receiver out of the backfield, too.
The defense is also tightened up, and Valdez is playing both ways as well, so he's helpful there. I think that's the difference. I think that Groover's got the weaponry to go score for score with anybody, including Stratford. I just don't think Stratford lets it get there. I think that
they're more battle tested.
They're more battle tested. I think they're going to drag them into more of a street fight.
Is that game in Stratford or Groover?
Groover.
It's in, okay. So Stratford, they at Sam Bass Field, they're known for, you know, Stratford plays that physical kind of grinded out football. The rumor is they water the grass extra and get it extra thick, you know, and you know, I'm sure they don't do that, but
I just think this is going to be this is the game of, like, what style is this game? If this gets into a shootout, Groover's going to win the game.
Yeah.
But I just don't think that. I don't think Stratford lets it get there. No. I think this feels like a street fight, and Stratford's coming.
Drag them in the deep water and say, "Hey, come play our game," and we're gonna win 28-14. And
that's exactly the scoreline.
That's a Stratford game right there.
So I like Stratford and Groover. I think it's gonna be a fun game and a real, like, heat check on newly ranked Groover. So interesting. What's your second pick?
Are we not nerds or what, VNA?
Oh, you guys are nerds. Right before I started this podcast, I was like, I need to put my nerd cap on.
That's right.
What's your second pick, Matthew?
We're going to stay small school.
The nice week
after
obviously, like, a more bare week in the small school.
A lot of bye weeks, yeah. We got a good week. Go to the Wichita Falls area.
Taking my game.
7 o'clock Friday night in Jacksboro at Tiger Stadium. Go get you a Hertzberger pregame as Wichita Falls City View takes on Jacksboro in a state-ranked matchup to open district play.
When's the last time City View was the best team in Wichita Falls?
Are they? They're up there. Memorial's really good, too, though.
I think City View.
Yeah. Pound for pound. I think it's a strong case.
Memorial's a 5-8.
I think there's a strong case for it.
Yeah.
I think it's a strong case. And, you know, City View, their skill talent and their speed is going to present Jacksboro some problems. 2 weeks ago, City View took Childress. We just talked about Childress a little bit in reference to Stratford. Childress lost to City View 41-25 2 weeks ago. And City View ran up and down the field on them. That, you know, Malachi Williams, Keyshawn Perry, kind of spur that City View running game. They do just enough defensively to get the job done. They're explosive. They will hit you with some big plays. Speaking of big plays, did you hear what Jacksboro's score was last week against Burke Burnett?
I did. They were a little because they lost the week before.
They lost to Jim Nett in a close one.
Yeah, lost to Jim Nett.
They were a little angry, and our buddies at one of the TV stations in Wichita Falls decided to make it their local game of the week. And
not a ton of choices last week, to be honest.
True. Locally, especially. You know, their best game was probably Memorial and Paladuro, but it was in Amarillo. Boy, what a letdown in local TV though when you pick your game of the week and it ends up being 71-2.
Is that worse than losing 71-0?
I don't know. I saw that score come through and I was like, "What?" And I watched the highlights and they got a safety. They did.
Yeah, 71-2.
Burnett got a safety.
71-2 feels more like
Kind of a bit.
Yeah.
kind of a bit score.
Yeah.
It would have been a huge bit if like Burt Burnett would have like returned a 2-point PAT for
not a safety.
yeah. But it was bad. Jacksboro forced 6 turnovers. They had 2 pick sixes in the game. Wyatt Gavitt, the quarterback, was just dropping dimes left and right. Our guy from State 7-on-7, Cannon Valenzuela, the Colorado State commit.
Dudes rock.
He is a Dudes Rock candidate. He's invited to the Dudes Rock dinner, and he was rocking last week. He had a touchdown catch where he mossed a kid, and then had a pick 6, and he had another interception as well. He had 2 interceptions. One of them went for a pick 6. Cannon Valenzuela is a freak show. Like, playing 3A Division II ball, he's unbelievable. I think that's the key. I don't think City View has an answer for Cannon Valenzuela on either side of the ball. And I think with Wyatt Gavitt being able to get Valenzuela the ball, and then what's going to happen is City View is probably going to have to double him and pay a lot of attention, and it's going to open up some of Jacksboro's other weapons because they have plenty of other guys who can hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the difference here. I think Jacksboro's play. They're a little more. They're the more battle tested team. They've gone through a tough non-district schedule, playing a lot of those good 3A opponents. City View, to their credit, is 4-1, but they haven't played the kind of gauntlet that Jacksboro's gone through. And Jacksboro's been here before. Jacksboro was a regional finalist last year. They went 13-1 last year. They've been in these big games. This is the big game at home. I don't think in Jacksboro they're going to lose to City View. So give me the Jacksboro Tigers.
Yep.
Casey Hubble's done it. When he got hired at Jacksboro, it was kind of like, okay, he came over from Breckenridge.
Mm-hmm.
No one really. He's done a great job with this. Jacksboro program.
They were the team that gave. I think they played.
He had Gunner a better game than anyone else.
Than anyone else, exactly like last year. And that's the thing that always sticks in my mind is that they scored 30-something points on Gunner when
49, 35 or something.
Yeah, when nobody else had scored more than 10. So I'm in on Jacksboro. I think I agree with you. I think Jacksboro's got the slight defensive edge in this one, and I think that's probably the difference.
Yeah,
good pick. Next up, let's go to Central Texas for my second pick.
Okay.
And 2 kind of legacy programs that I think are in the middle of reclamation projects.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you go down there and you go to the silos and they do fixer-upper, right? Got 2 fixer-uppers going on here in Central Texas.
They do fixer-uppers.
7 o'clock Friday night.
The Magnolia Silos reference. Who would have thought it?
Wildcat Stadium.
My wife would be fired up about that.
Wildcat Stadium in Temple.
Blue front, white back.
The Blue Front Whiteback Magic, Temple Wildcats, welcome in the Hewitt Midway Panthers in a game that if you had told me before the season was going to be on the game draft, I would have said
Temple went through the ringer last year. They struggled. It was a bad year for Temple.
And Midway too. I mean, Midway coaching change, bring it.
Hi, Brooke. I was like, Brooke. Maybe not our boss.
I know. Good idea. So these are 2 programs that I think are on the bounce back right now. Midway did make the playoffs last year, if I remember.
They got it together late in the year. They actually think had a share of the district title, but they look good this year. Joe Gillespie's done a heck of a job.
He really has. He has put things together in a hurry. And what I appreciate about them is that this is a guy who was the defensive coordinator for TCU when they played the national championship.
Correct.
A couple of years ago, and they are playing good defense.
Yes, shocking, right?
Excellent defense right now. They also have a quarterback named Cash Pullen. That rocks.
Cash does rock.
Cash does rock. And they have found a sophomore running back in Lathan Wissington.
Yes.
Who has been excellent for them.
He has. He's been very good.
Been very, very good for them. Temple, we talked about it in the offseason, about how it felt like we don't do in high school football, we don't do hot seat stuff. We don't because these are public school teachers and we're not educators, we're not going to play that game. We did talk about how 1-9 ain't going to cut it in Temple.
No, if you know high school football, you know how the Temple fan base is and how insane and crazy they can be. And Temple's a traditional winning program.
They are.
They don't go through 1-9 seasons very often. So you had to think, okay, they got to have a bounce back year, or there's going to be the grumbling, right? It's inevitable in a place like Temple, one school town. There are going to be some grumbling.
Well, and I'll tell you, Scott Stewart's putting it together.
They did a great. You know who their defensive coordinator is? Is former Tyler Junior College head coach Thomas Rocco. He's done a good job with making some hires and getting some guys on staff. He's done a good job.
How do you know these?
I am a JUCO. I am
JUCO Stepp.
I am JUCO Stepp. Sorry, Corey. I call ISO on JUCO.
Just calling out Corey Hogue.
Yeah.
Get good, Corey Hogue.
Yeah.
The junior quarterback, Champ Mayo. You got a quarterback named Cash and a quarterback named Champ playing.
What a
each other.
matchup.
This
What a
rocks.
matchup.
He's been very, very good. And then the guy we thought was going to be is Orion Peoples, their running back, and he has been very, very strong to start the year as well. But most importantly, and I think the big problem for them is that their defense has just taken a big.
They're forcing turnovers.
Force a turn.
Yeah, I think the last 2 games they've forced 8 turnovers.
Yeah, they have been very, very good this year.
Nice win over San Antonio Reagan, non-district.
Both these teams, I think we're on back watch for both of them. Like as far as being back.
Sure.
You get a win in this one, certified.
Well, this is a big win because this could have some playoff seeding implications. Both these teams could be in the same division.
That's where I was going with this next.
Yeah.
Because when you take a look at District 12 6A, right, I think we feel pretty good about Harker Heights being
They're the team to beat.
at or near the top of the table.
Sure.
I think the winner of this game, respectfully to Brian, is probably the chief challenger to Harker Heights. Right?
Yeah, Midway lost to Harker Heights already. So
especially if Temple wins this game.
Yeah, I agree.
Then if you're Harker Heights, you're cheering for Midway because then it's like, okay, cool, like we're feeling really good about this is play. I like Temple at home. I think when
they're good,
when they get good,
that place is tough.
That place right off 35. By the way, it gets rocking. It's a tough place to play. By the way, you know how it used to be such a pain in the rear end to drive through Waco? They just moved it south. Now it's a pain in the rear end to drive through Temple.
Yeah, because all the construction's in Temple now. Yeah, it's tough. Tough scene.
That's
It's first world problems.
Really.
Vina, I hope you wrote down blue front, white back. We will explain at the end of the show.
Yes.
I like Temple in a close one.
Okay.
Go with Temple in a close one. I think that's a fantastic game. And like I said, I think that high school football is better when these two legacy programs in Central Texas are.
We need good football in Super Syntax. As Craig will.
Big school. Good
Good big school football. And I think we do have.
You'll always have. Cameron Neal's having a tough year, but you'll always have some of these programs in the small school ranks.
Waco, Killeen, Temple, Belton area. We need those teams. It's good.
To be cooked.
High school football is better when they're good.
Good for high school football. All right. What is your third pick, Matthew?
Greg Tepper.
Yes.
I'm going to go to 7 o'clock Friday night at Orem Stadium in Alamo Heights.
Pick again. Mighty.
Greg Tepper, have you heard the good news about the Victoria West Warriors?
I have because I put them in my picks.
Let me tell you, very surprisingly, Victoria West off to a really strong start at 6-0, 2-0. We're gonna find out this week, though.
They are gonna F around and they're gonna find out.
We're gonna find out if Victoria West has got the juice this week because they go to Alamo Heights and take on the Alamo Heights Mules, third-ranked team in the state, 6-0. Huge game in District 13, 5A Division II, possibly for the district title, and I think possibly has some potential ramifications down the road for who's the favorite in Region 4.
Is it fair to say this, because I was thinking about Alamo Heights a lot today, is Alamo Heights the team that has been wire to wire a top 5 team in the state that we've talked about the least?
Probably, because they haven't really had any games that have been...
Like, when they played Bernie in their district opener, that was like the first time we were like, oh, we'll kind of find something out about them.
Yeah.
You know?
And they beat them, but Bernie did give them a game.
Farting around a little bit.
And, credit to Bernie. I think Bernie is going to be right there with I think there's 3 teams in this district who've separated themselves, and it's Victoria West, Bernie, and Alamo Heights.
Great.
You look at Victoria West last week, they're averaging almost 43 points a game, so their offense is cooking. You look at the score last week against Tybee, and you look at that final of 45-26, doesn't tell the whole story. Victoria West led this game 45-7 in the third quarter. Victoria West was up on Tybee 45-7 third quarter, and they emptied the bench.
That's wild.
DJ Martinez, 2 touchdown passes, had a touchdown run.
Careful with your wording. Emptied the bench.
Oh gosh,
you did it right though.
Thank you.
I didn't.
Not a shock jock today. It's like, what did I say? It was 45-6.
Yes.
Excuse me, in the third quarter. But they just cruised. They just They raced out to a big lead. They got a pick 6 early on in the game, forced a lot of turnovers. Their offense has been efficient. They've done a great job. Really impressed with the start they're off to. But the schedule they've been on the good side of the schedule. Alamo Heights, you look at them, and they've got the track record. Last week, no trouble against Harlandale, 55-9. Michael Terry had 111 yards from scrimmage. He 2 touchdown receptions. He put him at running back. He put him at receiver. He put him at Wildcat quarterback. Let him return kick. Him and Jonah Williams are kind of the
literally
two.
about to make that comparison of like Jonah Williams and Michael Terry.
Yeah.
You just watch him, you're just like, you're different. Like you look at him, you're like, you're just different.
You just play. You know, like I remember last year, the best Michael Terry story I have is me and Mike Roach are sitting there at their playoff game against Piper in the 3rd round of the Alamo Dome, and we're contemplating going to Taco Palenque post game, and then we're like, it's the second quarter. And we're more about what we were going to order. There was no question where we were going. But we're in second quarter, and Michael Terry hadn't touched the ball at all. We're like, man, what is like? I got to get Michael Terry the ball. And Piper's got the ball. I'm like, well, maybe on offense, they'll put him in at running back and just get him some throw him a screen, get him some touches. No, he comes out on defense and just promptly, literally gets a pick 6, like right then and there. And we're like, oh, there goes that dude. So he just makes plays. You put him at any position, receiver, running back, quarterback. Put him at corner, put him at safety, put him on the kick coverage team, put him on kick return. He can do it all.
So dangerous.
And they got a running game developed. DK Garza had 128 yards and 4 touchdowns last week against Harlandale. Now, again, Harlandale, the competition's not great. It's going to be a little tougher this week.
Mm-hmm.
But if Alamo Heights is getting other guys to step up and make plays where Michael Terry doesn't have to like carry the offense, it makes them really, really dangerous. The key in this game, for me, on the road, Victoria West has got to get off to a fast start.
Mm-hmm.
They can't come out and get down 10-0 or screw around and let Alamo Heights jump on them early. First 12 minutes of this game are huge. If Victoria West can hang in there, even if you're down 7-0, 7-3, that's okay.
7, yeah.
You're fine. Don't get run out of the building in the first quarter. Make Alamo Heights play 4 full quarters.
Mm-hmm.
Hang in there. I think as the game grows, Victoria West is going to build their confidence. Victoria West has gone toe-to-toe with some good teams in the past. They've consistently given Corpus Christi Miller problems when they played in district play. They've gone against Corpus Christi veterans. They played in these big games. It's different being in Division II. You're going to San Antonio instead of Corpus, but I think Victoria West can hang in there. I still think Alamo Heights gets to win, but I think this is a competitive game wire to wire, and I think it says a lot about Victoria West as a potential team that we can watch out for come playoff time.
I agree pretty much entirely on that. I think Victoria West the defense is opportunistic. The numbers aren't like spectacular. They're not blow you away numbers, but they make the plays at the moments, and they come up with big splash plays. They're going to need that against. They need to be like +2 in the turnover margin to win this game.
Pull the upset.
Exactly right. But it's a big test, and it is. I mean, again, it's another data gathering opportunity for Alamo Heights, which is a team we just haven't seen have to punch within their weight class too often. You know what I mean? That's just the issue. So
if Alamo Heights gets through this, they're probably going 10-0.
Yeah.
They've already beat Bernie, so this is kind of their last big test.
All right, my third pick, Matt. 7:30 p.m.
Oh, late night.
Friday night in the home of the Glass Bathroom.
Oh, yes.
Not at Gerald Prim Stadium. It's in
the Glass Bathroom is not at Gerald Prim Stadium, no.
But it's in the City Square. Sulphur Springs, America.
I'll tell VNA that story next.
As the Sulphur Springs Wildcats at 5-0. Have you heard the good news?
Brandon Faircloth's squad's doing a great job.
Welcome in the #1 team in the state, the Salina Bobcats. Sulphur Springs, you mentioned Brandon Faircloth. The official stance, Stepp, ball coaching dude.
Great coach.
Just unbelievable.
His opinions on Underwoods are a little sketchy, but that's okay.
It's fine. Nobody's perfect.
He loves, he swears, the barbecue at Underwoods.
And he likes it.
He's from Brownwood, so he gets a pass.
But he's doing exceptional work at Sulphur Springs.
He is.
This is what they brought him in to build. Like, when they brought him in, this was the plan.
I mean, the year before he got there, they were 0-10.
Yeah. Now they're 5-0 and rolling. And they are, what I love about this Sulphur Springs team, the more I dig into it, is that they have a bunch of different ways they can beat you. Mm-hmm. They can throw the ball. They got a quarterback in Caden Mitchell who's been strong. Mm-hmm. They've got a couple of running backs. 2 or 3 running backs. They're all underclassed.
They do.
By the way, Jackson Hare, Kyshawn John, and Deuce Hall. They can run the ball a bunch. And by the way, defense ain't bad. Defense comes to play.
They have a receiver, I believe he's committed to Texas Tech. Skyler.
Yes. What's his name? Lewis.
Yeah, I believe he's committed to Texas Tech.
Yeah.
On the outside.
They
got complete. Their
playmakers.
offensive line is big, physical, and they're flat bellies.
Yeah.
They are athletic, big kids.
They are. Look, Sulphur Springs got the juice. They're in the state rankings for the first time.
I watched I went back and watched their entire game against Aubrey. Their last game against Aubrey, I went back and watched it wire
It's
to wire.
a really nice win.
Yes, on the road.
On the road. That's a decent little road trip.
Yeah.
And they went and they were the aggressor.
They pulled away in the second half. Yeah.
I mean, back-to-back wins over. I mean, I know Mount Pleasant is down, right? But that's a 5A team.
Yeah.
To
Mount
beat
Pleasant opened up district. That's a better win than you think. Why Mount Pleasant?
And then they beat Aubrey coming off an open date.
Yeah.
Well, here comes your opportunity.
The ultimate measuring stick, right?
You want to measure yourself. You measure yourself against the number 1 team in 4A Division 1, Salina Bobcats. And I mean, we've talked a lot about Salina for reasons that you can probably imagine. They just beat Aubrey last week, and the word complete keeps coming back to mind.
They're a juggernaut right now.
Everything they're doing is working, and for all we talk about Franklin Gutierrez, their running back, and the other running back, Harrison Williams.
Yeah. Logan
Gutierrez. Why do I keep saying Franklin? It's Franklin Gutierrez. I think I've said that twice now. Logan Gutierrez, and Harrison Williams.
It's gotta be a baseball player.
The big offensive line that tracks, probably like a former Rangers AA player. The thing about them is twofold. One, the defense is nasty work, and 2, brother Bo Bentley, their quarterback,
He's been cooking with Crisco.
he is spinning it.
Yeah.
He is spinning it, and so you cannot load up against the run.
No, he can hurt you.
Because he will take, and it's not just every time I see highlights of him, it's just these 40-yard over-the-top bombs, and you're just going like,
Guys are wide open because
am I supposed to do
put
here?
8 guys in the box because
you have to.
Because Salina's offensive line is maybe the best in the state.
Right.
Like
Pound for pound, absolutely.
it's right now, like today, October 7th, it'd be hard for me to pick anyone but Salina to win the 4A Division 1 state championship.
They look the part. They look spectacular. If you're Sulphur Springs, love the trench matchup here.
Yes.
I love the trench matchup. If you're Sulphur Springs, you got to be able to run the ball, and I think you gotta play ball control here.
Keep Salina's offense. I agree.
Keep them off the field. This feels like probably too much too soon for Sulphur Springs right now, but you get them at home, get that stadium rocking.
You have at home. You had 2 weeks to get ready for it, so you're gonna have some tricks up your sleeve, some wrinkles that Salina hasn't seen.
This is 7 games in 7 weeks for Salina, and they've run a gauntlet. So jump on them early. That's the path. Jump on them early and just hold them at arm's length and
hang on for dear life.
Run the clock out. Yeah. I like Salina. I think you gotta like Salina in this one.
Sure, yeah. I think this is more about Sulphur Springs.
Yes.
They hang around, push Salina more than Salina's been pushed. I think it's okay. Sulphur Springs is an absolute legit contender in Region 2. This is kind of the measuring stick. You're not gonna win the game, but play competitive, play close.
And if they win, we're gonna party at the glass bathroom.
That's right.
That's great. What is your 4th pick, Matthew?
Tepper, I'm gonna stay in East Texas. I go Friday night, 7:00, Bulldog Stadium in Tyler. As this game is interesting for many reasons, as the Kilgore Bulldogs at 4-2 and 1-1 in district play meet up with the Chapel Hill Bulldogs, 5-1, 2-0 in district play, and it is another edition of what, in my opinion, the last 4 years or so has turned into the best rivalry in East Texas. These two teams have played 7. This is the 8th meeting since 2020 of these two teams. Chapel Hill has a 4-3 edge in the series. 3-0 in playoffs. Chapel Hill has been Kilgore's bugaboo in the playoffs the last 3 years. They've beaten them 3 straight years in the playoffs. Kilgore's 3-1 against Chapel Hill in the regular season. Kilgore, the only game Chapel Hill in the regular season won was the game I was at in 2022. Remember week 11 when it rained and rained and rained? Kilgore and Chapel Hill moved their game to Thursday, and I ended up going out there to that game. So that's the only time Chapel Hill has beaten Kilgore in the regular season. But for whatever reason, Chapel Hill's got their number in the playoffs. Where's Kilgore's head going to be going into this game after laying that egg for basically 2.5 quarters against Henderson last week.
Try to claw it back there.
Yeah, Henderson gets out 24-0. Kilgore rallies tied up, and then Henderson breaks their heart with a field goal to win the game. There's been a couple of games like that where even against Pleasant Grove, Kilgore kind of screwed around. They ended up beating Pleasant Grove in overtime, but they were down late in that game too. When Kilgore's dialed in, they're among the best teams in the state. But there's inconsistency there. They haven't been consistent, and that's a concern. I think it's something Coach Clint Fuller, I know, has been harping on all week. They have to be consistent. They can't have these ups and downs. They're not – Kilgore's really, really good, but they're not good enough where they sleepwalk they're going to win, especially in 9-4A Division I. They can't sleepwalk this week. I mean, the quarterback, Kason Brooks, is great. He had 3 touchdown passes, but because they got down so much, they couldn't lean on the running game like they want to. So I think Kilgore's got to get off to a good start in this game and play Kilgore football. Getting down 24-0, Kilgore has to get out of their personality, which is not what they want to do. They want to be physical. They want to run the football. Chapel Hill wasn't pretty last week. They knock off Palestine 28-0. Demetrius Brisbane did not play. The Baylor committed quarterback did not play. I don't expect him to play this week. In fact, I don't probably, most likely probably won't see him for a little while. And Ricky Stewart did play. He battling a little bit of an injury. He had 115 yards and a touchdown, but Chapel Hill without Brisbane is still struggling on the offensive side of the ball. I think they're going to go through growing pains. They have a young quarterback, played against Carthage. He played the game last week. You hope if you're a Chapel Hill fan that he gets that experience and is ready to go next year, but just kind of keep the ship afloat. Even at full strength, Kilgore matches up really. Even when Chapel Hill's got all their bullets, Kilgore's a tough matchup for him. Kilgore blew them out in the regular season last year. They went to Chapel Hill in the regular season, beat them bad. Chapel Hill got revenge in the playoffs in a really close game, but Kilgore matches up. They match up with Chapel Hill well. They're a tough matchup. They're a tough matchup for anyone. They're a tough matchup for Chapel Hill. I think we're going to have full-on Kilgore, Raging Red Bulldog, pissed off, mad football. And I think Chapel Hill is wounded. They're not at full strength. I think they're going to give them a fight, but I think Kilgore runs away with this one, honestly. I'll be surprised if
you know what's so interesting is that the circumstances around this could be setting up for another situation where Kilgore wins in the regular season and then they meet again.
Potentially. Yeah.
Well, here we go.
Jeff Reardon is just lining it up. Not that he's going to
be JV out there.
Yeah, but they're banged up. Chapel Hill doesn't have all their bullets right now. They're banged up. They got some guys that are out. Kilgore is relatively healthy, and they're mad. Yep. And so that a lot of that lines up. And for Kilgore, you really need to win this game so you can kind of stay in that race. Because now if you lose this game, now you're 1-2 with head-to-head losses to Henderson and Chapel Hill. You're really kind of up against it. So Kilgore, I think we're going to get a very strong effort from Kilgore this week.
I tend to think that you're right. Good pick. My fourth pick, Matthew. 7:30 p.m. Friday night. Let's go. What county is this? Let's go to Western Jefferson County.
Oh, Southeast Texas, yeah.
Hampshire, America.
Hampshire Finette.
As the Hampshire Finette Longhorns welcome in the Silsbee Tigers in a tantalizing District 9 4A Division II opener.
Live on Texan Live.
How about that?
By the way, if you want to, maybe among the most entertaining announcers on Texan Live are the Silsbee guys.
They are fun.
Because they are homers. They make no mistake about it.
Love that.
And I think they've worked in Critter into their broadcast, which is elite. If you work in Critter, that's very Southeast Texas. Hudson Standish can get behind using the word Critter in a broadcast because he's from Liberty.
Shout out Liberty.
Yeah.
Liberty mentioned.
Critter.
Yeah, Critter. You know what a critter is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you're from Lake Dallas. They got critters in Lake Dallas.
Critter?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Critter is like an animal, like a mouse,
like
a
little.
raccoon.
Oh, like critters. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got critters out in our yard.
Yeah. You live close to the lake.
This show.
It's off the rails.
We have crawdads in the Lake Louisville.
Let me tell you something about Hampshire Finette.
Hampshire, America.
I am fairly certain they are the only team in the country that has won a game 13-7 and lost a game 71-48.
That probably tracks. Yeah.
I don't think there's any other team in America that can boast that.
Because they can play any style. Yeah, they can play any style you want.
Week 1 and week 2. I do think they've settled into what they probably are, which is a high-powered offense and a defense that can make plays, but is probably not going to go out there and wow and like dominate you. But I will tell you that for Hampshire Finette, I mean, quarterback Ty Bryson,
really good. He
really
impressed us in 7-on-7. I saw them a couple weeks ago against Fort Bend Crawford. Ty Bryson's I think he got that dog at him award winner.
Yeah.
Congrats.
They are also like
enjoying that award, which is just a Twitter shout out.
The defense does appear to be rounding into form. They got playmakers like Malachi Adams who are very good. I think he had 3 picks last week.
Yeah, he's very good. Yeah,
he's very good.
CJ Larnett at wide receiver.
Okay. So there's Hampshire Finette. Silsbee has got some dogs as well. Okay. Silsbee has got playmakers all over the field. And you know, if you remember, one of the questions we had, obviously the question for them was like, what does life look like without Traylon Miller? Well, turns out offense still pretty good. Michael Mosher, their quarterback, has been very, very good. They've
spreading it around pretty well.
He is. Caleb Johnson.
Yeah. He had a big game against Beaumont Westbrook, I think. Yeah.
And then Jaden Miller, they've been excellent on the outside. They can run the ball a little bit too. This team's just they're solid. I mean but the name of the game in this one, in a District 948 Division 1 opener,
Division
2 opener, is injuries.
Yes.
Because Silsbee was just beat to holy hell before their open day last week.
Yes.
Just absolutely, just totally, just
a lot of bumps and bruises.
Decimated by injuries. Okay.
And it showed. I mean, credit to Hitchcock, but I think if Silsbee's at full strength, that's a lot more competitive and better game.
How healthy are they?
Sure. Had a week off, that helps. Came at the right time.
How healthy is Hampshire Finette? Because they are missing. We don't know what Chris Augustine, their star running back, their number 1 running back.
Yeah, he got hurt in the game I was at against Fort Bend Crawford. Didn't look great. I haven't heard an official word, but he hasn't played since then.
Yeah. So what's his status? Is he healthy? It's a fascinating ball game. It also I don't know. I mean, that's a good district with them, West Orange Stark, which is rolling. I do not throw dirt on Jasper. That's a big game this week, Jasper and West Orange Stark.
It is.
I don't throw dirt on them. I think I lean to Hampshire Finette. I think this game.
I think those are your 4 playoff teams. Yeah, I think
but
you're fighting for playoff. You want to get that better seed and better positioning.
I lean to Hampshire Finette at home in a close one, but a lot of it depends on like who's out there and who's healthy.
Sure,
because that's just a big question mark there. All right, what is your 5th and final pick, Matthew?
We can go back out west. We're covering the gamut again. We are. We're heading out to the Lubbock area. Little Southwest Conference opener. 7:00 Friday night at Peoples Bank Stadium in Wolforth, as the Midland Bulldogs at 4-1 take on the Friendship Tigers at 4-1, and these are 2 teams offensively that couldn't be more polar opposites. You got Midland High and their option offense, running the flex bone, grinding out yards on the ground. They might, if Midland High throws 5 passes, it's something's wrong. They
panic.
Yeah, that means that things did not go well. And you got Friendship, who has 2 big-time Division I wide receivers and a quarterback who has multiple games where he's thrown 6+ touchdowns. Friendship is the complete opposite. They are going to throw it 50 times a game.
Yes, they will.
And then doesn't mean anything's wrong. It just means it's another game for Friendship. Midland actually did not have a bye last week. They were the only team in the district who played last week. They played Santa Lucis, Florida. I don't know where Santa Lucis, Florida is. I don't know how big they are. I don't know. I've never heard of them. But they came to Midland, and they got drilled. It was 56-31, and it really wasn't that close.
Just a moment on playing out-of-state teams. I get it. Like, I understand it, right? But y'all, like, don't ask us to, like, analyze these games. Like, even the game we were talking about with Stephenville and Ruston, it's like, I don't know.
I think we had a little more on Ruston because Ruston's played 2 other Texas teams.
Sure. Like, but there's nothing from, I can't triangulate anything.
Yeah. I got Midland's in a 16 districts. They kind of had, they kind of got caught in a bind where they didn't have any non-districts.
Sorry, Vina?
Small question.
Yeah.
Why?
Why do they play out-of-state teams?
Yes.
Sometimes it's that, like, you have a lot of teams, especially that want to come to Texas and play Texas high school football. They experience the Friday Night Lights thing is like a real thing,
especially in Midland.
Yeah, in Midland, they want to go out there and stuff like that. You also have these teams that are like they have trouble finding teams within their own like within their own state to want to play them. So they want to.
Duncanville and DeSoto play at least one out-of-state game.
Really?
In, like Washington a couple of years ago.
Oregon, yeah.
Oregon.
I went to Oregon a couple 2 years ago. Yeah.
That happens. The other thing that happens, and especially with like the reason like Ruston, Louisiana plays teams from Texas is that they're just close to Texas. Like it's a relatively, you're either going to drive 3 hours within the state or you're going to drive 2 hours out of state.
The El Paso teams play New Mexico games on a regular basis.
The teams in Texoma and the Panhandle play Oklahoma teams on the regular. It's not a big deal.
This game took place because Midland was one of the few 16 districts, and it was either go to the Rio Grande Valley and play, or somebody from out of state was willing to come and play at home. So
exactly.
take the home game.
Is that a satisfactory answer?
Yes. Thanks for the info, guys.
Midland led this game 56-10 in the fourth quarter, put their backups in. That's fine. Easy win. 56-31 doesn't tell the whole story there. Their running game, they ran for 444 yards. UTEP commit Elijah McCoy had 4 touchdown runs. Chris Lang had two rushing touchdowns, also caught a touchdown pass. Midland Air Bulldogs.
The air raid.
Yeah, coming to Midland. And so Midland High has been great. Coach Thad Fortune has really done a nice job with that program. I think he has Midland High. I think this is a game with district title implications. Midland Legacy and Permian are going to have something to say about it, but these are two of the best teams in the district. Friendship, they were idle last week, so that's key.
Yes.
You play a team like Midland, that extra week of prep is huge because you get to work with your guys on the option assignments for 2 straight weeks. They've got 2 of the best receivers in West Texas. Leighton Stone, Texas Tech commit. Chase Campbell is not committed yet, but is one of the best top receivers in the state, regardless of region. He's awesome. He's going to be a Division I player. He's also a really good basketball player as well. Quarterback Holden Phillips. He's been up for Mr. Texas football at least once this year. He's been, I think, quarterback of the week once. 400 yards is kind of an average, normal day for him. He throws for 400 yards. He walks into science class and he's thrown for 320 yards already in his third period. Like that's just what he does.
Yep.
Now, they've been pretty good. Their one loss of the year was a really close game to a good Byron Nelson team. They lost by 2 points. They pushed Byron Nelson to the brink, probably felt like they should have won the game. They've been very good. They had a couple of blowout wins. Their last game a couple of weeks ago, a little bit puzzling. They beat Midland Christian 35-34. Midland Christian's a good private school team.
Traditionally pretty strong.
That also lost to Graham 24-0. So that was a little concerning if you're Friendship. Maybe Friendship didn't take the game very seriously. Maybe they sleptwalked through it. I don't know. It's a little concerning. But I'm going to chalk it up to is the last game in non-district against a private school. We'll see what happens. I think this is going to come down to – I think it could come down to who has the ball last.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's going to be a whole lot of stops in this game because Friendship, as good as they are offensively,
leaves a little something to be desired defensive.
And against Midland's offense, you may not – Midland may go on a 21-play drive on you and hold the ball for 10 minutes. So fascinated contrast of styles here. District championship implications in the Little Southwest Conference on the line. I'm going to go with Friendship at home.
Me too.
But this is going to be one to watch. I think it's a lot of points. It's going to be pointsy.
This will be pointsy. I think this is a fun game, and I think you're right. That's something that a real styles clash.
Yes,
is like you can see this game going a variety of different.
And I love those kind of games.
Yeah. My final pick, Matthew. Let's go. Where's this game? Listening to live coverage of me making sure I know where this game is. Here,
Florida.
Teppan State. It's not in Florida. It's kind of wild that with the final pick of the draft, I'm going to get a matchup of top 5 teams.
Love it. It's a deeper week. It's a good week in the small school is really where it's at this week.
It's a 5A game. 7 o'clock Friday night at C.H. Collins Stadium in Denton.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. I just forgot about it because Denton Ryan got beat last week.
As the Richland Royals at 6-0, the number 4 team in the state, number 5 team in the state.
Yeah. Shout out to our buddy Jake Kemp, Richland alum.
Take on the number 4 team in the state, the Denton Ryan Raiders, in a game that probably to host a playoff game.
Agree.
Yeah.
The winner of this game is probably going to get a playoff game at home, and I think seeding purposes, this may be the first of 2 meetings.
It could be.
I think they could easily meet in the playoffs as well.
We talked a lot about Ryan last week, so I want to focus on Richland here. They have been rolling under the radar, I think, just kind of bobbing along there at 6-0. And part of it is that they had that really good win against Colleyville Heritage in week 2.
Yes.
won by 20, really looked good. And since then, Denton, respectfully, they have played the non-playoff teams.
They played the lower tier teams.
Out of 3, 5, 8.
Yeah, agree.
And so, I mean, Denton, Brewer, Birdville, and Fossil Ridge. And they've treated them appropriately. They have dominated.
Yeah.
And quarterback Drew Cates, the son of Jed Cates, has been lights out.
Yeah. His senior year, coach's kid at quarterback, he's been great.
He's been really, really good. Got a bunch of receivers on the outside. They're loaded offensively.
Yes.
Defense probably not tested, and when they have been tested, frankly, they've kind of been touched up, which I think makes this really interesting for Denton Ryan. Coming off the loss to Aledo, we know the weaponry they've got. Quinn Hennigan, Braden Mussett, they got to get that running game going. Nemo Warmade.
Yeah.
I keep a lot of the things I said about Aledo, the Aledo game kind of repeat here. This comes down to two things. One, where's Ryan's head at?
Mm-hmm.
And how are they mentally coming off of what is going to be a pretty gutting week? I think.
They're going to hear it in social media. They're going to hear it in the hallways. They're going to hear it from guys like us that Ryan doesn't have what it takes. They're hearing that all week.
Absolutely.
So
the other thing for Richland is this is the game, I think probably the first game this year where they're going to need to be balanced. And they're going to need that. And right now, we don't know what their running game looks like because Michael Turner, their star running back,
Baylor commit,
is out for the year.
Correct.
What kind of running game can they get going?
Yeah.
Can they be multi-dimensional? This is like the real test for Richland.
Like, you don't want to get one-dimensional against that Denton Ryan pass rush. If you let their DNs pin their ears back, it's going to be a long night.
This is the real test for, this is final exam time for Richland. Mm-hmm. You've done everything right up to this point.
Yeah.
But right now, they've got Ryan and Aledo in the span of 3 weeks. And then, by the way, unbeaten Hazel.
How about Devin Doors is over here in Wise County going, hey, man, look at me.
Well, pay attention to us. I like Ryan to bounce back and get a win.
Can't let one game beat you twice.
But there's a real chance of that. I think Dave Hennigan and company are going to be able to refocus them and get them.
They've been around. They've won a lot of football games. This is state championship staff. I think they will.
Richland's good enough to do it, though. Plenty of stuff. They're fifth in the state for a reason.
Yes.
So I'd like Ryan and Richland as my fifth pick. So there's your Week 7 game.
By the way, that game's live on Texan Live.
Your Week 7 game draft. Stepp took Duncanville, DeSoto, City View, Jacksboro, Victoria West, Alamo Heights, Kilgore, Chapel Hill, and Friendship Midland. I took Groover, Stratford, Midway-Temple, Salina, Sulphur Springs, Hampshire, Finette, Silsby, and Richland and Ryan. Great wide.
Yeah, we didn't hit Houston this week. It's a little not as strong of a week in the Houston.
Not a great week.
You got the Golden Triangle. I was trying to figure out what the best game in Houston was this week, and
I mean, it's like probably Summer Creek and C.E. King.
Yeah,
but I think
Aldi, Nimitz, and Westfield.
Yeah,
maybe?
but I wonder if the Cinderella stories for Nimitz can end that week this week. So anyway, it's now time for our hipster game of the week, where Stepp and I select a game that's probably off your radar, but you should be paying attention to. Matt Stepp, what is your hipster game of the week?
Go down to Atascosa County, home of Will Wilkerson, but not Pleasanton. We're going to Jourdanton as another team. Have you heard the good news on the Crystal City Javelinas?
How about Crystal City?
5-0, off to a great start, fresh off a 23-20 win over Carrizo Springs. They are visiting Jourdanton, and Jourdanton, I think they were the preseason pick to win 14-3A Division I by most. Jourdanton's off to a little bit of a slow start. They're 2-3. Are they vulnerable? Now, let's look at schedules. Jourdanton has clearly played the tougher schedule. I mean, I look at Crystal City's schedule, and their best win is probably over Uvalde by 5 points. Jourdanton at 2-3 lost to Caddo Mills, and what a weird season opener that was. Jourdanton and Caddo Mills lost to Divine. They won a close one against Pleasanton. Lost a close one to Somerset, and that was kind of the game. I'm like, okay, Jourdanton's going to be fine. They lost to Somerset by 8. I think they're going to be fine. They bounced back to close out non-district 2 weeks ago with a nice win over Floresville. It's a big game at 14-3A across the board is tough. You still got Hondo, Lytle's at 4-1, San Antonio Cole on the Army base there is 3-2. Could have easily been 4-1 if they'd have beat Randolph, lost on the last play of the game. It's a good district. This is a key matchup, especially if I think Jourdanton's got the edge here. I think they're still the team to beat. But if you're Crystal City, you're fighting for one of those playoff spots. A win over Jourdanton will be a signature win. and would stake their claim as possibly a real contender for the district championship. So this is a game I'm watching in Class 3 of Division 1 as district play gets started. In my opinion, the best small school district top to bottom in the San Antonio area. The kind of greater San Antonio area there.
Absolutely. I think that you're probably right. That's a good pick, Matthew. I am going to go to Lynn County.
I don't know where Lynn County is.
7 o'clock Friday night. All right, 7 o'clock? Make sure of this. 7 o'clock Friday night in Tahoka.
Okay.
At Bulldog Stadium in Tahoka. Capacity 750.
The whole town will be there probably.
As the 4-1 Tahoka Bulldogs open District 3-2A Division II play, perhaps with a district title on the line, as they welcome in the unbeaten and state-ranked Eagles of Ropes.
Let's go. Ropesville.
Ropes at Tahoka is my hipster game of the week.
I like it. A little South Plains action for you.
This is classic, like...
Joey McGuire's fired up right now.
If he could...
Joey McGuire's a Tep and Step watcher, I know.
He is...
Or listener. He's
looking into tickets right now. I'll tell you this. Let me just tell you about
Tahoka, Step.
The strength-on-strength matchup
Coach.
here. The strength-on-strength matchup here is pretty clear when Tahoka has the ball. Because their offense has been very good to start the year. The Bulldogs have. They got an outstanding running back in Jordan Martinez, a quarterback in Brogan Stone who can throw it a little bit. They got a bunch of running backs.
That introduce him to Braylon.
They're gonna run the ball.
Shout out Carter Gates.
What offense is Tahoka? What a great question. According to Coach
Cody Bounds, right?
I believe that's correct.
I'm a sicko.
Cody Bounds,
former Bonham head coach.
Says they're running the spread. Well, I'll just tell you this: they've run the ball 164 times against throwing it 76 times. So they're running the damn ball
twice as much as they throw it. Yeah.
But this Ropes defense has been legit. It's the reason that they are here. Ropes has allowed just 35 points all year. They have been excellent defensively. Bo Rikers Ball Club. They're state ranked, and an opportunity to go out there and, in my opinion, these are the two best teams in the district. And the winner of this game is going to be the favorite here. Yeah. I like Ropes going on the road, but I think that two teams with a combined enrollment of, oh my God, this is knowable and I don't have it. Two teams with a very small combined.
2AD2. Now Ropes is growing. Ropes is kind of that.
Ropes got 161 in their town. Tahoka's got 169.
Yeah, Ropes is kind of on that edge. You know, they're south of New Home. New Home went up to Division I this year. Ropes is probably getting some of that overflow from Lubbock. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't be surprised if Ropes went to Division I next line.
Tahoka and Ropes is my hipster game of the week. That's your title game. And a district
big game.
That's state-ranked Ropes team. Yeah. So anyway, I like Ropes and Tahoka. Where are you going this week?
It's a shorter week this week for me because in 1 week, it is Canadian Thanksgiving. Mrs. Stepp and I are prepping for the Thanksgiving menu. For those wondering, Thanksgiving in Canada, the menu is pretty much the same as it is here. Mrs. Stepp's a great cook, so my diet will go to hell for a week.
Love it.
But it's okay. That's what Thanksgiving's for, right? So I'm leaving Saturday morning, so no Saturday games for me this week. For Thursday night, me and Greg Powers are headed to Palestine, as it's going to be a road trip with Stepp and Powers get on the road. It's watch out.
Yes.
We're going to go to Palestine for Crockett and Palestine Westwood. Get a good look at Richard Bishop's ball club. John Denman, the TCU commit at running back. Kavian Bryant, the 2027 quarterback, who's one of the top players in the class. Crockett's very athletic, very tough. Should be a fun one Thursday night. Friday, I'm staying close to home because I got a 5 o'clock flight in the morning, so I'm not going to venture too far from the house. But I'm going to go down to Cleburne, heading to the Rock, Yellow Jacket Stadium, one of the classic WPA stadiums. It's a stone stadium right downtown, right in the middle of town. It's a cool atmosphere. Cleburne is hosting the Tyler Lions.
Okay.
So get a look at Rashawn Woods Ball Club and check those guys out as they're making a long road trip from Tyler to Cleburne. So fired up for that. Got a restaurant recommendation in Cleburne, so we're good to go.
Nice.
And so then Saturday I'll be on a plane to Toronto.
All right, so are we remote next week?
Yes. So for those wondering, Monday will be remote Tep and Step.
Don't worry, you'll still get it.
Just maybe a different format.
Look, we just won't be sitting at the same time.
VNA has to work a little bit
harder.
VNA has to work a little bit harder.
Or not work as hard at all.
Could be.
Let's go over to VNA Marina.
And we got some explaining to do.
To close out.
Not you. We have explaining to do
to close out our show as we ask, hey VNA, what'd you write down?
I wrote a lot of things down. Actually, I swear this is.
Look at that. Wow.
She actually does take notes.
She
Like,
takes notes.
Look at this.
It's not a bit.
Oh, not that one.
Not that one.
But it's a lot.
That was that note with my picture where she had like a line through it.
Yeah. Weird. What'd you write down?
First of all, my very first note, Carde Mack equals an assassin.
He was an assassin. He looked awesome.
The Ragin' Red got to Ragin'.
Kilgore.
Stepp's number 1 pick equals Duncanville Eagles.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Sorry, Coach Mathis. And sorry, Coach Samples.
Sorry to America.
Yeah, really just apologize. I'd like to apologize to all my fans.
Yeah. I may never put on this headset again.
Well, I said bitch on the air, so I mean.
You said it again.
You watched yourself this time. What if we just score 50 points every game?
Yeah, that's cool.
Along with right under that in small print, the rent is due.
Yeah.
I'll save this one for the very last. Home of the Glass Stadium.
No, glass bathroom.
Oh.
So in downtown Sulphur Springs, I need you to Google this.
Wait. This is attached to this. If they win, we're going to party at the Glass Bathroom.
Yeah.
Okay, that one sounds better.
So in downtown Sulphur Springs, there's like a public restroom, the very nice public restroom that's made of glass. And so you can, if you're inside of the bathroom, you can look out. But if you're on the outside, it just looks like it's reflecting. You can't see.
It's like the one-way glass.
The one-way glass.
Okay.
So if you're in there doing your business, it feels like everybody's is
looking at
walking by and walking, but nobody can see inside. It's unique. You Google it. You can, I have christened it.
I love it.
I used it. I christened it.
Call it that.
Well,
Okay, a couple more. I like this one. Texas
Nice
Friday
bathroom.
nights. Texas Friday Night Lights is a real thing.
It is.
I think I wrote this down correctly. He walked into science class with 300
yeah.
yards already.
Holden Phillips at Friendship. Yeah, he walks into science class third period. He's already thrown for 320.
And then lastly, you wanted me to write this one down and ask about it. Blue front, white back.
Yes.
The
So-
Temple has the best pants in Texas high school football.
They are awesome. You need to Google this too. Google image their pants.
The front is blue, and then the back is white. And so it's like the first time you see them, they look weird, and then you just watch them play. You're like, oh wait, never mind. These are the best pants.
They're awesome. They're the only team in Texas that has them. They're literally the front are blue front. The Sangin Temple's blue front, white back magic. Funny story about that. When Mike Spradlin got the Temple job, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago, he wanted to switch Temple to Under Armour. Temple was using a local, and they're using Russell Athletic or something, and Russell was able to make these pants for them. Well, when he went to Temple and got the Temple job, he switched them over to Under Armour. Under Armour was like, we can't make these pants. And Spradlin's like, well, then I'm going to get fired. You can't make these pants or we're just not going to use you guys because we cannot. Like the person who gets rid of blue front, white back magic in Temple is going to be fired before he coaches a football
That's
game.
exactly right.
That is a huge deal in Temple. It's tradition, and I think it's awesome. I think they're awesome. So when they played in the state championship a few years ago against Alito, it was great. Blue front, white back pants.
Oh, I found a picture.
Yeah.
Aren't they cool?
Are they great pants?
I'll probably put it up on the video.
Yeah, they're very cool. So it's a tradition. It's a unique thing about one of the many unique things about Texas high school football.
That
Blue
is
front,
cool.
white back magic.
I like that.
That
Yes.
is going to do it for us.
Nope.
Thanks for being a Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscriber, for watching for free till the end of this show. VNA, thanks for your service.
Thanks, V.
Thank you.
I'll miss you next week.
I'll miss you.
Stepp, thanks for your courage.
Thanks.
Safe travels.
Yes.
Talk to you next week on Tep and Step.
Bye.